I mean, what would you call it at this point?
Evil.
Hi, Ghosty fam. Welcome to the Activity Continues podcast. If you're new here, we are friends and soul sisters who recap episodes of the TV show The Dead Files and talk about other creepy shit as well as, random facts, TV shows, podcasts, obviously TikToks. One never knows where this rabbit hole will lead. I'm Megan.
And I'm Amy. Thanks for joining us again. This week, Megan is guiding us through an episode of The Dead Files called Cabin Fever. It is a brand new episode. We just watched it in the last day or two. And
I just watched it in the last hour or two.
I watched it today too. I think AP did too. I did watch it on Friday morning, but I also watched it again because I wasn't really paying attention the first time I watched it.
It was a good one.
So
It's
it was a good
worth
one.
Two watches.
Yeah, it's a good one. And so, it aired June 14th. And I was hoping that we would be chatting with Lisa from this episode today, but I reached out to her and I haven't heard back yet. And it's mostly because I had no idea what shop this was or how to reach her.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to look for metaphysical shops in Alabama and I found some, but none of them said they were run by someone named Lisa.
Okay.
And so it wasn't until Friday morning when I turned on the show and I saw the name of the store that I immediately Googled it, sent her an email, sent her a Facebook message. So if she gets back to us, Lisa, if you're listening, we would love to chat. We have questions. I have a couple that I will bring up later, but yeah, and I'll put the link to the Facebook page for them in the show notes so anybody
really
can
quick, Amy.
Yeah.
Didn't it air on June 15th?
Yeah, what did I say?
14th.
Oh, it actually says 14 in my thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys. It aired June 15th.
Sorry, I just want to...
No, that's good. I'm glad. Thank you. I fucked it up. Okay.
5 minutes in and we're already... It's chaos.
Yeah, I know. That's all right.
It's on par.
Yeah. Why would we change now?
Why would we get organized now? Makes sense. Just kidding.
Okay. So we also want to say hello to Amy P, our newest team member. She is keeping us in check with facts and shit like that. And this is her third official episode, right?
Yep.
And she's already got some good stuff. We've been chatting a little bit ahead of time and she found some things that were interesting that she looked into a little further. So she's going to be bringing you all those goodies today too. So say hi to Amy.
Hey.
Hey,
everyone. Yeah, looking forward to getting into this today. But those of you who have not watched this episode and don't like spoilers, please do not proceed. Go back, pick an older episode of ours, and then come back once you've watched the Dead Files Cabin Fever episode.
So we have a couple things we want to cover. We went over 10,000 downloads.
What?
Woo!
That's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
And I want to say a welcome to any new listeners who maybe came from the Dead Files Facebook group, the discussion group, because I know some people have been listening over there and I've seen our numbers go up. So welcome everyone.
Hello. Thank you for finding us and thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Of course we do. What else? Oh, I noticed that 3 Spirit, our affiliate, the non-alcoholic yummy elixirs, they have a rewards program. So if you're going to buy anything from them, sign up for that rewards program and then you get free stuff after you spend a certain amount of money. And I didn't realize it till I'd already bought 2 boxes worth. So I'm not getting credit.
Maybe you
for
can
the first...
email them and be like, can you retroactively activate this? Because
I know.
I just want to say emphasis on yummy because they have really good mixed drink options for those of you who like to partake but don't necessarily want to do alcohol for whatever reason. They have really good recipes on their site, so you don't have to sit at home and think, what the hell do I mix this with? They give you the options. So we've done it one time. I know we all three got together. And then I think the two Amy's have kind of played around with them on their own. They're really good. So if you want to partake with some mixed drinks, mocktails, definitely look into them.
Yeah. Yep.
They're so
and you
good.
can just go to their website and then use the promo code The Activity Continues, and that will get you 15% off of your first order. And it does us a little solid too. They throw us a little commission every time someone uses our code. So that's
you might think that they're kind of expensive, but they're made to be like mixers, so they last a really, really long time.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna chug that whole bottle.
No, it's not like a beer, you know. And I think, Amy, I think you still have all three of them, the bottles. Do you?
I do.
Yeah. So I mean, and when did we get these? Like, I know it was last year for sure.
Yeah, it was. And you're only supposed to keep them for 12 weeks once you open them. And I was like, I think I've had them a lot longer than that. So I threw them out and bought another set. Yeah. So I have a fresh set that I haven't even opened yet. And the bottles are so cool too.
I do like the bottles.
I rinsed them out and I'm saving them. I've got one over here that I can't reach right now, but I'm going to put lights in it.
You know,
cool. Those little tinkly lights. So
fairy lights,
anyway,
as they're
it's
called.
super cool. So yeah. So they're
really good. Big, huge. I loved it. We had so much fun that night, and they have a lot of recipes. And I know Amy AP has done a lot with them too. So
yeah. And I'll mention that next week we are going to be recording together, live and in person.
What?
And so maybe we'll mix up some of those too. I know Amy and AP, you're working on some cocktails for us.
Yes, I am.
And then we'll maybe have some Three Spirit too.
What? I contribute nothing to this podcast. Amy L's the brains. Amy AP is like, I'm mixing shit up. I'm like, I just show up, guys. What's up?
Yeah, because we were going to do it on Sunday. Then we were going to do it on Saturday. And then you're going to be out of town. So we decided to do it Friday.
Yes.
And we're going to do it in person.
Taking a little tripperoo for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow. That's so exciting.
Which was in
Congratulations.
April. I know. I was on the phone with my mom this morning. We were FaceTiming and just chatting about stuff. And I'm like, well, what do you want us to bring? She's like, well, if you guys want to do like breakfast one day. And I'm like, that's what like grown-ups do. And I'm like, fuck, I'm almost 40. Like, that's me. That's me. I'm a grown-up. When did that happen?
I almost just spewed water all over my computer. That would not have been good.
No. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a grown-up. Fuck, we're all screwed.
Yeah. Breakfast is fun though.
I know. I'm thinking of doing maybe like just an egg bake.
Oh yeah.
Those are always easy
to do.
I have a really good recipe if you want.
Can you send it to me?
Look at French toast bakes too.
Ooh. That would
be
the
one that I'm thinking of, you get like those Pillsbury biscuit in a can, and then you cut them up into fours.
Cut them
like that. This is how you cut.
This is how you cut.
Like
as Amy dies. She went out doing what she wanted, talking about food.
Yeah, but you use those biscuit things and you just mix it up in a big pan with eggs and ham and cheese, and it was delicious. I made it for Mother's Day a few years ago. I'll send you.
Nice. Yeah, send me the recipe.
I also would say cheesy potatoes, otherwise known as funeral potatoes, for the Minnesota Lutheran crew.
Okay. Is that like the pre-made hash browns?
Yeah. Yep. You get
or the little
hash
dices.
And
sometimes the little cubes too. Sometimes.
Yep. I did some for Easter. Oh my gosh, they were so good because I sauteed some jalapeno and onions and peppers and stuff because I like to throw in some healthy things into my.
We can't do jalapenos. Those are too spicy for the mom. Too spicy.
Well, get a poblano. That's no spice.
Yeah, I was gonna say
poblano. Gives a little flavor, but anyway, saute those up and then mix all of that into the cheesy potatoes, because then you can get a little bit of at least you're getting some extra nutrients along with your comfort food.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, jalapenos too spicy.
I love jalapenos.
I do too. Jalapenos. My mom is like, oh, geez, they're too spicy, man.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
My mom thinks ketchup is spicy. So
yeah. My dad used to put a hint of cayenne pepper in the eggs. Oh, These are too spicy. He doesn't sound like that, I promise.
I know, I've met your mom.
He doesn't sound like that.
You're just going all in on the Fargo accent. Does
Yeah.
everybody
Oh,
thinks
yeah.
we either have
Oh,
the Fargo
sure.
accent or Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee
Speaking of
and
Drop
bars.
Dead Gorgeous, last week I did misunderstand the assignment, and I'm like reading off of Amy's notes, and Amy's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Amy's like, are we just all doing, and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't.
It's
Amy's
fine.
probably like, the fuck is going on?
I'm like, well, I lost this, so I guess I'll just run with it.
I know.
Fine. It was fine.
Yeah, I'm
It's
a
fine.
mess, you guys.
It's fine.
See, what do I contribute the chaos is what I
mean,
contribute.
yeah, well, see, we have to have that, so
It's true.
it's important.
Yep.
Before we get off the topic of food, I want to try something.
I'm
So-
always ready to talk about food, so you
Yeah.
just
We should do a food podcast. So we went to the Chinese grocery store today because we went and got ramen, good ramen.
Mhm.
And then we went over there and shopped. And I decided that I was going to buy a snack that I didn't really know what it was, that I'd never
Okay.
had before. And a lot of times the packaging is all in Chinese or Japanese or Korean, and you wouldn't know what it is anyway. And you can't really tell by the picture usually.
Right.
No.
So this one, I think I know what I'm getting, but what I picked was Thai coconut roll.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So
Do you have to cook it?
no,
Oh,
it's just a snack. So I'm going to open it. And I'm going
Okay.
to try it right now.
little ASMR for everybody.
Now
paying.
I'm jealous.
I know.
I'm sure I'll still have some.
What
next
do
week.
they smell like?
They smell kind of
Teen
sweet.
spirit.
Oh, Digby's right here waiting for his. They smell kind of sweet, like a cookie.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they're going to be sweet. I thought maybe
Okay.
they'd be salty, but so here's what they look like.
Oh, cute.
Oh, cute.
Oh,
keep
for
them.
cute.
Oh.
So
Oh, they're hollow. You could stuff them with
you
something.
could.
Like make like a cream cheese spread.
Oh yeah. Little cigar. Yeah. Okay. There's like little seeds in there.
Oh,
Those aren't bugs.
They look like black sesame seeds.
Yep.
They are. Yeah.
Yum.
Okay.
They're crunchy.
They are crunchy.
They're crunchy. Yeah, they're good.
Okay.
Good.
I have had something like this before. I don't know that I would say they are coconut flavor,
Yeah.
Okay.
but they're good.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the cocktail I had the other night when I was up in Ely. The Ridge chata is what they called it, but it was
Ooh.
rum chata, coconut cream, coconut rum, and lime juice all blended
Yum.
That's very
with a-
coconutty.
with a toasted coconut rim on it. It was so good.
Is that the one you sent a picture to our group?
Yeah.
That looks
That
delicious.
looks so good. Yum yum. Okay.
Hmm.
So those are good. I would buy those
Okay.
again. I won't eat anymore on
I mean, you do
Camera.
what you want to do. You live your life. We're not
Okay.
going to control you.
I
My
can turn
Bob
this
Ross
down.
coffee mug,
Oh, cute.
and it says, "There are no
Yeah.
mistakes,
Oh,
just happy accidents."
that's cute.
Awesome. I have
got my
a
coffee in it.
Liquid Death mango chainsaw.
Oh, what's that?
Well, that's an aggressive name.
Is that an energy
Damn.
drink or a
No,
beer
it's
or
just
cider?
no, they're waters. But
Oh.
they're sparkling waters. They have a little bit of flavoring, sweetness to them. And so yeah, they intentionally made them to look like a beer can kind of thing too. But they have just regular still and regular like carbonated. I'm like, okay, that's club soda, but who buys canned water that's just water? But
Right.
apparently And That's Why We Drink does.
Oh, that
Yeah,
makes
so
sense.
this is one of the ones that they're always talking about, but yeah, like so because they're liquid death, they're supposed to kill your thirst. Yeah,
Clever.
and so the
Cute.
names, yeah, it's got I don't know if I'll be able to
It keeps
show,
blurring.
It keeps blurring it out.
but the label is a skull.
Oh, I see a skull. Yeah.
Yep, it's kind of like a skull that's like melting, and then yeah, mango chainsaw. There's lime something, berry something. There's a watermelon, so
That's
Cool.
they're
very
pretty good.
aggressive.
I like sparkling water, so they're
I do
just kind of
too.
nice.
I do too.
They're $1.50, $2 a can, but so it's not something you do every day.
Mhm.
At least
Yeah.
I'm not going to do every day,
No.
but
We can't all be ritzy.
No, like
Some
I'm just drinking
people.
regular water, but I'm drinking it from my Sig water bottle, but I put the sticker on. And I have washed this and the sticker doesn't peel off.
That's awesome.
That's good. Yeah.
Viv.
I'm just drinking coffee from Bob Ross.
All right.
I didn't even have any coffee today.
I didn't either.
This is cup number 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. I wasn't sure how to get to 3.
I know. I'm here for you.
I got
guys.
the 1 and then I got confused.
I got
2
stuck.
is tricky. The 2
Yeah,
is tricky because 1 and 2 they start with different letters. 2 and 3 both start with T. Oh my god, I didn't even mean to make that rhyme. I'm just
You're on fire today.
I'm on fire. Yeah.
Do we need to cover anything else? Oh, I wanted to mention a TV show that I have been watching, and I think I finished it because it went on to another show afterwards, and I was like, what? I know. It's called Angels Among Us, and it is I'm watching it on Hulu, but it's a TLC show.
Okay.
So it's probably on Discovery too, or maybe even Max now. And it's about a woman. Her name is Rosie Shapiro, not Shapiro. She's Italian. Yeah. Well, she is adorable, and she's a medium, and she sees angels, guardian angels. So she will meet somebody and do a reading, and she will see their guardian angels.
Oh my god, that's so cool!
It's so cool, and I cry every episode, like happy cry.
Yeah,
it's so sweet, and she is just fucking delightful. And I highly recommend watching it. I think what she's referring to is what we know as spirit guides, because she will say your grandfather is your guardian angel, and he made sure you didn't get into that car accident, and stuff like that. So I think that in her mind that's the same as a spirit guide, from what I can tell after watching these episodes. But at any rate, really, really, really sweet show. Very wholesome and cute.
Yeah, it sounds adorable.
It is. And she's got this cute husband, and they have like 4 grown sons, and they are on the show every once in a while. Yeah, I can't imagine one.
They probably lost a lot of items to destruction growing up.
Yeah. Well, and then like she'll go out with her son, like, we're gonna go out and buy shoes for him. And they go out, and then she'll run into somebody, she'll like staring at somebody in the store. And then she goes up to him and says, do you believe in angels? And then the kid is like, oh God, Mom.
He's like, Mom, I just want some Nikes.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Can you just get me some Adidas?
Yeah, it's really cute. So
that sounds adorable.
That's my recommendation.
Okay.
Awesome. And then I also want to mention this sparked from the conversation we were having in the Dead Files chat, because our podcast came up, and then someone else said, what's the name of the Dead Files podcast? And I was like, I don't know if you're talking about ours or a Dead Files podcast, but as far as I know, there isn't one. Actually, they asked for Amy Allen's podcast, which I know she doesn't have one.
Yeah.
And so we looked, AP said, I think there is one out there that's just the audio from the show.
Yep.
And she was right. So I found
she usually is.
Yeah.
I do my best.
So I found it, and I took a screenshot and put it into the group chat. But also I will put a link to it in the show notes if anyone wants to listen. I listened to one today. They only have 40, so they don't have all the episodes, and they're not in any kind of order, like of when the Dead Files aired or anything. And they only started in August, so we were around before they were.
We're the OGs, if you would.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to do this quickly. I took a lot of notes.
I'm like, holy buckets!
I know. Well,
we'll be here till Tuesday.
You know how you take notes and you're just like, well, that could be interesting. Well, what if I forget this? And then I'm like,
I do that all the time.
So I'm going to try to do just more of an overview, like we've talked about doing, but this way I can. So I'm sorry if I don't.
You're fine.
You're
fine. And then AP and I both have other notes we want to.
Perfect.
Yep.
Holler up and talk about. So I'll try and figure out.
And steer me. If you're like, you're getting too specific, be like, Megan, can you just fucking move it along?
Pull out a little bit.
Yeah, just pull.
That's what
back.
she said.
Pull back.
That is what she said. Can you just pull out? Jay says.
Pull out.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
So this takes place in Madison, Alabama, which is outside of Huntsville. And Amy pulls up and immediately is like, this is really bad. There's something really, really bad here that tries to keep her from going in. And she said it kind of is like wrapping around her, trying to prevent her from going in. And she just, it's affecting her physically right from the beginning. This is just going to be a really tough walk.
Yeah, you could tell she looked really, really uncomfortable. She
Yeah.
was like, ugh, I don't feel good.
I mean,
Yeah.
she was getting out of the car.
Yeah.
And she was like, this is really bad. So
Hit her right
she's
away.
been affected for a couple of days
Probably.
leading up to this.
Oh, yeah.
Which wasn't the episode before this Madison, Florida?
Was it?
I think it was.
Yeah,
I know it was in Florida.
was.
I know
It
it was in Florida.
was. And
It
then
was.
so the first two had doppelgangers in Florida. Then this one has a tie to Madison.
Right.
Ooh, we'll have to look at the
I'm
next
just
one.
seeing
and
if there's
see.
like little ties
Little,
between
like,
different
ties.
episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
That'd
be
see,
awesome.
Amy catches the nifty stuff. that
I
don't
just
catch.
come up with weird observations that may or may not actually fit.
Yeah.
Hey, we know now. We're aware. So we meet Lisa. She owns a metaphysical shop there, and I believe it's called the Hippie Butterfly.
Yep.
Yes.
In
Yep.
Madison, Florida. And so she's really afraid. A lot of things have been happening to them. So at the shop, they sell crystals, they sell soy candles, and they do palm and tarot readings, and they have an energy reader. So the 4 people who work at the shop, Lisa, who owns it, her husband, Ed, he does kind of construction work, fixes stuff around there, Wanda, and then Carolyn, who did the energy reading. And so people are hearing voices, shadow figures, they're being physically attacked, they're getting scratches. And it's not only the shop owners. Lisa was talking about how a customer was upstairs, came flying down, told Lisa, you've got a witch upstairs and she doesn't want me here. So just a lot going on with everybody there. And Amy has seen a really huge thing, the thing that she saw when she got there. It's been there since the 1850s, she thinks, and it was actually summoned to cause problems. Like it wasn't part of the land like we hear so many times before. Somebody actually summoned it, somebody who deals with black magic and who deals with, dark magic brought it there. And she also said that somebody associated with the shop practices black magic and has created a bond with this thing. And immediately I was like, well, there's only 4 people with this shop. So who is it? Is it Wanda? Is it Carolyn? Is it Ed? Is it Lisa? So my mind immediately was like, oh my God, who is it? And so I spent kind of the whole episode trying to figure out
solve the
who
mystery.
It was. Yeah. We figure out it's none of them because it was a person who used to work there. They never mentioned this person's name.
Right.
But what?
Oh, I just said, yeah, but I do have an interjection about that.
Tell me.
I went to the Hippie Butterflies Facebook page and this was a post on their page. And I believe this is Lisa saying this. It's not really signed by anybody, but it says,
when was it?
A day ago. Well, I think I screenshotted this yesterday. So it was a day before, 2 days ago.
So June 16th, 2023.
Something. Yeah. She said, okay, this is weighing heavy on me. I talked about a medium that was in my shop for a little while. They would not let me say the name. So I want to be very clear. It was not Wendy I was referring to. I don't know who Wendy is. I assume she's an employee that people were like, God damn it,
It's
Wendy.
her.
And now
Fuck
she has
you,
to
Wendy.
say it's not Wendy. She's not Wendy.
Well, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
And she said she's truly gifted and I highly recommend Wendy. It was, however, another person. And then a bunch of people commented. They were like, oh yeah, Wendy's the bomb. She's the best. So
yeah,
whatever. It wasn't Wendy.
It wasn't Wendy.
Well,
Wendy's
people
cleared.
like to look for a scapegoat, and if Wendy is no longer working there, and they put she's a medium in this. But yeah, Wanda and Carolyn both mentioned, we think we think somebody who is a medium was doing some bad things
on purpose because Steve asks, like, do you think they did? And they were like, they did it. She did it on purpose.
And they said like she was under the impression, or we were under the impression that she was helping people, but it seemed like she was not.
And we get into that at the reveal, and what Wanda said at the reveal made my jaw literally drop. I was like, So yeah, it's not good. So then, really interesting, we have security footage of a door being blown open and items on shelves being knocked all over. And it was windy that day. Lisa did say that, and Steve was like, well, is it possible the wind blew it open? Which that's fair, like if it's a screen door or whatever. But she said no, it was deadlocked.
Yeah.
Like it was dead bolted. She's the only one who has the key.
Yeah.
So,
and she did say, when Steve was questioning her about it, she did say, oh, I attribute all the stuff flying around in the room, I attribute that to the wind.
Yes.
But the door opening was not
the wind. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then they also have seen a motion detector went off, and in the security footage, they saw a child in the middle of the store.
God, I wish we had that.
I know she, for whatever reason, they don't have it anymore. I don't know if they didn't save it, if it got recorded over.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, we don't have it anymore. So then so the little boy, Amy says she was shown a little boy who was about 5, and she said he really wants to be seen. He wants you to know he's there. So he moved things, breaks things, throwing things. He, living people might hear laughter, but he really wants people to know he's there.
Well, and she said during that time that she was like swallowing a lot. She's like,
she said
I'm
it could be a drowning death.
and swallowing. Potentially in that drowning death. So I have some comments about that in the reveal. So
right, cool. But they didn't talk anymore about that aspect. So, and then we go to the stairwell leading upstairs, and normally it's downstairs, so it's kind of refreshing that it's upstairs now. Elisa says she doesn't go upstairs unless she absolutely has to. And she says every time she comes down, she feels like something is trying to push her. This really freaked me out when she said something followed her home.
Yes.
That she felt this burning on her leg, and she looked down, and she said scratches formed right in front of her eyes.
I can't even imagine.
I would have shit my pants.
Oh my God.
She said she turned around and she saw something about 7 feet tall, yellow eyes, and she heard in her head, I can do what I want to you, in this really growly, low voice. And nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No, she imitated that voice, and I was like,
well, I could also hear in my head, I can do what I want to you. It was a very, very deep, gruff, rough voice.
Like something out of a movie.
I mean, just the growl in the voice.
I'm like,
scary.
Lisa, no, we don't need to do that.
I've seen yellow eyes or eyes floating out in the woods when I've gone to my deer stand in the morning. It makes you run real quick.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
it was definitely a deer that I saw, but it's still. Yeah, because predator and prey eyes glow differently when they reflect.
Oh, yeah,
really?
They're greenish. They're almost like more reflective.
Yep.
Wait, so prey eyes are yellow?
Are more of the green color. Yeah.
Oh.
And then predatory have a red tinge to them. So like, especially like deer, the deer in the headlights look is because they have a lot of reflective lenses inside their eyes. So they are literally stunned and confused.
Poor babies.
Oh, yeah.
That's why shining is illegal for hunting purposes.
Good. It should be. That's
yeah, that's poachers.
And like that takes the sport out of it. Like,
I know.
give the animal a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're already ahead of the game with your gun. And I don't mean that like a negative against guns. Like I'm not. I just mean like guns are fast. Deer are faster than deers. I don't mean I'm not anti-gun. Okay, I'm gonna move on.
Our truck was not faster than the deer this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Poor
thing.
So anyway, back to ghosts. Amy talks. Sorry, Amy. I know that you just took a drink, so I hope you're okay. So Amy really, she comes back to this large skeletal thing a lot. She says it doesn't, and this is what really creeped me out. She said it doesn't have legs. It like ended with a dangly spine. Moving on out.
That made me think of the picture that Annie gave us last week with the thing that looked like a spine coming out of. And I posted it on Instagram, and one of our listener followers said that it looks like a rod, R-O-D, all in big caps. And she's like, remember those? I think it's female. They said, remember those? They were, even though they were explained what it was debunked and blah, 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 but it looks like they're still around. And I looked it up. Let me just pull up our Instagram real quick. So yeah, I looked up rods, and it says, in cryptozoology and UFOlogy.
UFOlogy?
Well, it's UFOlogy.
Oh, okay.
UFOlogy.
Nailed it. Perfect.
Rods, also known as skyfish or air rods or solar entities, are elongated visual artifacts appearing in photographic images and video recordings. Most optical analysis to date have concluded that the images are insects moving across the frame as the photo is being captured.
Oh, that makes sense.
But that's not what Amy saw because she wasn't looking at a picture.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that is a way to explain some of them.
Yeah.
Also, from now on, I only want to be referred to as skyfish.
Okay.
We then meet Amy's husband, or Amy, not Amy, Lisa's husband, Ed. And he's really concerned about her safety. He did see a spirit standing upstairs. He described him as a big, hefty guy. He said I could pick him out of a lineup. So he got a really good look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Said he was wearing an overcoat and he had a beard and a mustache and a flat brimmed hat. So he looked like 18th century clothing. So very specific. So he must have been pretty detailed. And then Amy said she saw some guy running around and he doesn't stop running, which is like literally my son. Like yesterday, he just ran from one end. Yeah. Well, this guy should be too. Yeah. No, he literally ran from one side of the house to the other, just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So he was here before. So this running guy, in the show, was here before, here now. So he's been there for a long time. Amy sees him as solid white, like kind of misty, but solid to her. And she said the living would see him as a mist in the shape of a person and just kind of darting here and there and never really stopping.
Weird.
Then we meet Carolyn and Wanda, and they both feel watched when they're there. One thing that really freaked me out was, I believe it was Wanda said she heard knocking on the walls and it knocked 3 times, which when they do stuff like that, that's very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Focused.
Yeah.
That's when it really freaks me out because then that's a conscious entity.
Yeah. It's not just a tree.
Well, and the walls that she said it was knocking on, those are timbers. Those are thick. Like that cabin is gorgeous, by the way, and in very beautiful. Good condition. But it was so
that old.
The walls were so thick, so to hear something knock on it, it's not like knocking on one of our walls that is, plaster and everything. Not plaster, but
sheetrock or whatever.
Sheetrock. Thank you. I'm like, plaster's in the old houses that you shouldn't have.
Yeah. It that really freaks me
that
out.
Makes me think the knocking is coming from in the same room as
from inside the house.
Person who hears it. Yeah.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Inside the house. God, that's scary.
So then we go to historian Jackie Proctor Reeves. And this was super interesting to me because the cabin did not originate in Madison, Alabama. It was built in Taft, Tennessee, which is about 20 miles away. So Jackie said that the first documented information about the cabin was 1835, but some of the descendants think it was built as early as the 1790s. So we have the original owners were William Bartlett Millam, I think how they pronounced his name, and his wife Lucinda. When he passed, it went to the second son, Wiley. I don't know why it didn't go to the first son. Maybe he passed away or, whatever. They didn't go into that. And then they said Wiley, and I wanted to say E. Coyote, but I didn't. Wiley Coyote. Sorry. Oh my God. Wiley,
that was perfect.
But I didn't. Here I go doing it now.
But I didn't say it, but I'm going to say it now. That was totally subconscious. Wiley, the person, not the coyote, was in the Confederate Army. And around 1863, 4 Union soldiers came in the cabin. And essentially, what they could do, Union soldiers could go into cabins and houses and buildings and businesses and take whatever they wanted.
And that is something all throughout history. Any military, any force like that, it's basically, if you have it, it's now ours.
Right.
And other places like churches and stuff did stuff like that too.
So Steve's like, oh, they called it foraging. Jackie says they called it foraging, and Steve goes, here we call it robbery. And I was like, yes. So they went into this cabin that we're in right now. Well, they're in. And they were killed by what they called an Arkansas toothpick, which was just like a
knife,
dagger, like a knife, a dagger. the bodies, then the 4 Union soldiers, the bodies were taken out of the house and buried in the family cemetery in an unmarked grave. So back with Amy, she sees this running dude, the Misty guy, and she said he's, saying something really big happened. There's a lot of people panicking. And then she got something about a robbery gone wrong. And then she said this evil skeletal thing actually caused a big fight that killed these men.
Mm-hmm.
So the 4 people that died, this evil thing had something to do with their death.
Yeah. And there was something about them sitting there, like somebody was saying, I can't believe this is actually happening. Like this is happening. It's actually happening.
Right. Which I'm sure a lot of people have when something happens to them like this. You see this. How many times in shows do we hear you hear this happening to other people? Like you never think about it happening to you.
Right.
I have a name that I don't know if it's the right name. Is it Shark McGraw? That
I don't remember
seem right.
that.
That doesn't seem right.
Is
Sherry McGraw.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay. Sherry McGraw.
So Sherry McGraw,
we call her Shark.
We call her Shark. I'm like, what's up, Shark? Gobble gobble. That's what the noise sharks make. Gobble gobble. They're not.
I thought that was a turkey, but okay.
They're related distantly through marriage.
Okay.
So Sherry McGraw, she owns the land next to where the cabin originally was in Taft, Tennessee. And the land next to the cabin was a poor farm. And basically,
Yeah. So my question with this was Steve said, I don't normally get these, but I got a phone call from a local to tell me more about where the house used to be. How
did the local know to call?
How did the local know and have contact information, which tells me that there's
the production
stuff
team
that's
found
put
them
out there and then it's patched through. But it was just the way that it was kind of stated,
like from out of the blue.
It's just, somebody heard that we were looking into this, so they came up to us.
That struck me as odd too.
So
I also want to note that when we come into that scene, it's a drone shot.
They're really big into the drones.
And it made me think of last week when Annie said that the producers keep trying to get Steve to do stuff that they take drone pictures with and then they don't use them. They used it this time.
You can see the drones quite a bit in different ones. I mean, I think there was some that was in last week, just not quite as much as probably they shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the poor farm next door was a hellhole. They sent people there who couldn't support themselves or their families couldn't care for them. So people who were seriously ill, people who had some sort of disability, whether it's mental, physical, whatever it was, they were basically sent there. And when you came there, you died there. You did not leave. So this one was around for a disgustingly long amount of time. When they said it, I was really again, my jaw dropped.
Not surprised though.
No. Started in 1874 and it closed in 1961. This was around when our parents were alive.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It was horrible conditions. She showed some newspaper clippings. The beds were just covered in vermin and people died of normal quote unquote things that you would not die today, like pneumonia, cholera, mental illness, dysentery. Just people went there when society didn't want them.
Right. It was a
dumping ground.
It was a dumping
for
ground.
Live bodies.
Like warehousing.
Yeah.
Live people. Yep.
Okay. AP, go.
Yep. So I just figured they did a pretty good job covering what poor farms are, but thought I'd just give a little bit more. And I found an article from the Fence Post by Judy Buffington Samons in Gunnison, Colorado. So this was from 2009. Okay. But poor farms were also called poor houses, could be called pauper farms. A lot of the residents were called paupers instead. So Pauper. If they were within large cities, they may have been called alms houses. Okay. You give alms at church.
Right. Alms to the poor.
Yep. So those things were being funded by, people in the area. So properties were set aside on land. The paupers could be, at the time, and in this article, it said that they were people who had less than $10 in worldly goods. So typically were elderly. And what a definition of elderly would have been at that time.
25 years old.
Yeah.
With no family. So other people that would be at poor farms: prisoners, vagrants, and drunks, people sick with consumption, which is tuberculosis,
those
elderly,
drunks.
pregnant single women, because they
The
are now
worst.
spoiled goods,
worst.
basically.
Oh,
Yep.
The worst.
Abandoned or orphaned children,
my
developmentally disabled, and quote, mentally ill. That was from the article. Basically, a combination of a working farm, a hospital, a nursing home, and an orphanage, with no resources to do any of those well, but having to do all of them horribly. So that's kind of, you know, you think about the asylums and things like that. These weren't far separated,
off, right?
Other than they really didn't have like the quote care that maybe they had at whatever you want to call it at the asylums.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it sounds like pretty much anybody could be sent to a poor farm unless you were a man.
Yep. Well, of course, because men are
tracks.
Yeah. If you were a man that had no abilities,
able body.
Anything. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
So then we go dig into the archives, but he says searching through old records.
Yep.
And we meet retired cop Shannon Fontaine, and we hear about a brutal murder, which
I laughed when he said that too.
His favorite.
Brutal
murder.
All brutal.
They're all brutal. So 1949, we have Florence Moore, and she married Harry Reedus. She lied about her age. A marriage certificate said she was 18. She was actually 16 years
Well, we don't know if she lied or somebody else lied.
Somebody lied. Yeah.
Probably her parents. So this was a tumultuous relationship. That's all we get. But based on what happens, I'm assuming it was abusive.
Yep.
He moved back home within a few months, which to me is very shocking that her parents allowed her to move back home, because most of the time they were like, you just got to work it out. What have you done to make your husband mad? Type of mentality. So it's really interesting that she was allowed to move back home.
Right.
This must have happened really early in the year, because April 16th, 1949, remember, she got married in 1949.
Yep.
Florence went out with another man, James Thomas Binford, who was 22. Coming home, so she's 18, because that's how old she was when she was married just a few months ago. Coming home, Harry's waiting for them in the bush. He has a shotgun and he shoots Florence in the stomach.
Yep.
James is like, oh my God, it's late. I gotta work. I'm just gonna go home and go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired. It's a long day. Seeing somebody shot is really exhausting. I'm just gonna go home. Harry was caught really quickly and initially denied any involvement, but eventually breaks down, says he still loves her. Okay. Didn't mean to hit her, you guys. He shot to scare her.
Yeah, okay. Except problem with that is, with a shotgun, you need to be aiming at someone to really hit them. Like, pellets can fly, but if you're trying to get that, it's called a grouping, that right in there, you're purposely aiming at that person, because shotguns are called scatterguns for a reason. They're full of pellets and that go out, and it was 60 feet away, they said, which is 20 yards.
Yeah.
Shotguns can be accurate to 30, 40 yards. But it's what you use for bird hunting for the most part, because it scatters more, right? But 60 feet is the length of a bowling alley.
Yeah, it's not far. Like, and what did he think was going to happen? She was going to run back to him?
Yeah, I think I put in my notes on that of like, okay, so he was still in love with her, aka a jealous man who didn't know no as an answer.
Right. And a jealous man who, like, if I can't have her, nobody will. But just wait, you guys, it gets a lot better. It gets so much better. You're going to be so happy.
Gets so much worse.
So Harry took a plea deal. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison. He did 20 years. He was paroled in 1969. In 1973, he was pardoned.
Yeah, for premeditated murder.
Yep. So he was essentially, they're saying, nope, you didn't do it. So sorry about that. Sorry we inconvenienced you. It's unfortunate. He lived until 1988, and he died on Valentine's Day. And the officer Shannon had a really good quote. He says, and I put this in there. He said,
Cupid and the Reaper got him at the same time.
To which I said, how long have you been sitting on that, Shannon?
Yeah, I know. I thought that too. I'm like, he's been waiting for that one. He was at home the night before, like, okay, I'm gonna do this and
I
then
gotta
keep it in the
say
Reaper.
something really
Oh,
funny.
that's good. That's good. Keep it in the Reaper. That's
Don't-
good.
Yeah.
And then he said it like 5 times. He's like, God, can we do it again? I didn't like how it came across.
We practiced it in the mirror all night before.
Yeah. Cupid and the Reaper. No, that's too strong. God, back off. Back off. So then we see Amy for the last time before the sketch, and she's talking again about this evil thing. And she said, whoever summoned this evil thing meant to do it. And Matt asks what they wanted to use it for. And Amy said they can curse people. They can send it out to people to cause harm. And it's death magic. And she said it could kill someone, fuck up their lives, and go on for generations, which it has done. If it was summoned around the 1850s, like she thought, that's 150 years ago, 170 years ago. And then her last quote before we go to the sketches.
Bad witch.
So then we're going to the sketch and we're talking about she's describing the tall evil thing. And that's the only thing that it shows her describing, even though there are 2 sketches. But she's like, they're really getting back into, not just showing her, yes, this is what I saw, but she's like, okay, well, its lashes were longer and, it didn't have legs. It ended in a spine. And so it was really interesting. I like that they do that. Because
I do too. I wish they would show more of the sketch artist section.
So we're in the reveal and Lisa and Wanda are there. And they didn't do the reveal in the cabin because Amy said it was so hard that she asked them to move the walk. I don't know what building they're in, but it's a fucking cool building.
They showed the outside of it several times. And I wondered at first, could it be Lisa's home? But then when they were talking about that thing following her home, they didn't say it came here. They said it went to your home. So I don't think it was Lisa's home. It could have been the hotel. It could have been, City Hall
of things
or something.
Steve asked Amy, told Amy, like, did you know you were walking through a metaphysical shop? And Amy goes, she said it was a very difficult walk, lots of energy, and she got a lot of people and they were very sick. So she was saying how the living would feel this. They'd get hot, cold, nausea, painful stomach issues. And if you remember, Lisa said that she felt like something would grab her stomach from the inside and like try to prevent her from going in, like squeezed her intestines. Wanda talks about being nauseous and burning up. Lisa tells Amy she feels nauseous, gets migraines, not migrating. She gets migraines. Then Amy talks about the dead child. She said it was recent, no earlier than the 1950s, angry and he acts out, and no older than 5. And then they show the sketch of the kid, and Wanda and Lisa call him the Trickster, or the Trickster of the cabin. And so, Amy, did you say you had more info on him?
Well, I just had some thoughts about that
because,
well, do you want to get to what Steve calls him in the picture?
Oh, so this guy's a little rat bastard, because they show him the sketch of the kid, and they're like, this is the Trickster, and then Steve goes,
he looks like a little rat bastard.
I'm like, Steven, he's 5.
Yep. And that's where I'm like, okay, so Amy talked about maybe he drowned. And so then it's like, is he angry about how his death happened? Because potentially there was no adults watching. So is there some anger that's there? And then some of the anger of they're not paying attention to him, and he's trying to get their attention. Maybe it's that he thinks that they could help him or that sort of thing. Or I was like, I feel like it's not fair to call him a rat bastard.
Right.
He is a small child who is
spirit.
And he probably doesn't know fully like what happened to him, and there's been no one to explain it.
Right. Yeah. So then Lisa talks about how customers get slapped across the face, they get scratched, they get pushed. And then she also talks about how Ed saw a man appeared on the stairs, and she described him as, having a duster on and wearing a hat and having a beard. And Amy said when he was alive that she kind of was talking about the misty white guy who's running everywhere. Steve called him a meth head, which I don't like that.
I know. That was weird. I'm like,
we don't need to do that. We don't need to make fun of people with problems like that. So when he was alive, a large event was associated with him with 4 people killed. And Amy said she got a robbery gone wrong. And so that's when Steve talked about Wiley, the person, not the coyote, and said he was a Confederate soldier. And Amy went, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, same, Amy.
Yep.
And then they talk about the evil thing. Amy talks about the evil thing. She said it was huge. It's about 8 feet tall. She said she doesn't know if it was ever human. She said if it was human, it is not human anymore. She called it evil multiple times. And then she showed him the sketch. And this was the creepiest sketch. So essentially what she showed was how she felt when she was walking into the building. And you see, and we'll put this up on our socials, and by we I mean Amy L, but it shows like a spine like wrapping around her. And the skeletal man kind of reminded me a little bit of the Grim Reaper in the way that his face looked, and he had some stringy hair.
Yeah.
It was really not great. And then that's when Lisa talks about what she saw in her house with the yellow eyes and the scratches. And Amy says it was summoned by a dark arts practitioner. So she makes, tells people this wasn't associated with the land. Somebody specifically brought this here. And this is when they talk about the former employee who was bringing in dead people, but not sending them on. And to me, that just, my jaw dropped. And I'm like, what was she bringing them in for? This person, I guess. I think they said she.
It was a female. Yeah.
So what was she bringing them in for? How was she bringing them in? Like, what was her purpose? And, so she's just bringing in these spirits and trapping them essentially.
Didn't Amy say that this person was doing it on purpose to cause problems?
Yeah, to cause chaos.
Yeah. And then I just want to mention, I thought it was so funny. Okay. What Amy said.
When I went upstairs, I heard witchcraft. This is not positive witchcraft. This is somebody practicing the dark arts.
She said it with a Boston accent. The dark arts.
The dark arts.
Her voices changed so much during this. And I think like when she hit the dark arts part, it's like she didn't want it to be her voice saying it and, like having that energy associated.
Interesting.
Because that was, even when she said like death magic, when she was talking about when she was in those last scenes with Matt, like her voice changed a little bit there too. So those are like subtle nuances that I was picking up on. I have no idea if that's accurate or not, but that's just what it seems like.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Don't want that associated with me.
That could be it. That might be also why she says heart attack.
Heart attack. Or of course, or on. Yeah. Anyways, we love you, Amy.
We love you, Amy.
So then we go to the fixes and what can they do? And she said, similar to what she told, why can't I think of
Annie?
Annie, thank you. To every night for 1 month at the approximate center of the location, they need to burn frankincense and myrrh, and do it at whoever feels like they've been followed home, do it at your house as well. And she said this evil entity will just hate that and will leave. And then regarding the running man and the dead child, she said you need to find a medium who can move on the dead that are there.
Yeah.
So the fixes
that person's just supposed to come in and be like, hey, who wants to go? Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's move it along. I got things to do.
You don't have to go home, but you don't
I gotta make goulash. I gotta make some fried okra. Just kidding. They probably don't do goulash in the South. That's very much a northern dish.
That's a Midwestern. Midwestern thing.
Oh yeah. So then we get video update. 4 weeks later, it's Lisa, and I believe it was not Wanda, Carolyn was with her.
Yep.
And they said everything is calmer. The cabin has been cleared. They had a medium come in and they moved on the 2 entities and any other entities that were there. And she said the nasty thing is gone. And so it feels a lot lighter and a lot happier.
Yes.
Which I'm very glad for, because Lisa was, she was really, this was her dream. She said, this was my dream and I don't want to lose it. And then when they showed a sketch of the guy, you could see her, they bleeped it out, but she goes, this motherfucker is a villain. You could clearly see.
We got your name. We got your number. You're getting out of here.
That is not winning. No. He's not winning. This is my passion. This is my dream. And he is not running me out.
Yeah. Which I'm really glad, because
I love that.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
All right. Perfect.
No,
That was good. I'm just organizing my tabs here.
I did get the bad witch timestamp, Amy. That's in my notes.
Okay. Yeah. While we're talking about bad witches, we should go back to our conversation of a couple episodes ago where Amy was calling something in the house a witch, and we were saying we don't like to use that term because not all witches. I mean, I thought that if you are a practicing witch that you wouldn't be bad. But apparently somebody in our Facebook group, not the Dead Files one, clarified.
But you can join if you want to.
Yeah. Clarified that there are bad witches and that some of these bad witches do not believe in that rule of three or whatever it's
well,
called.
and not every witch is Wiccan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true too. Yep. So I guess we could have called that episode The Bad Witch. Okay. Is there anything else we want to cover before we get to
well, in the end of the episode, there was an in memory for Elizabeth Tiralongo. Apologize if that pronunciation is wrong. Could not actually find the connection to the show, but looking at their Facebook page and through some articles, looks like they studied film and TV at the University of Central Florida and maybe was a production assistant. Maybe there was another connection. So just kind of guessing there. But Elizabeth, who went by Lissy Bella to her family or their family. I saw she, her pronouns and they, them pronouns in two different things. So I'm going to try and use they just to keep that.
Cover all the bases.
Yep. They were in a warehouse fire that happened that was the warehouse had fireworks in it, and so that there was 4 people that died. They were all workers not trained well in the handling of different things. The fire happened. Rescue workers were unable to get to the people inside the fire because of the fireworks going off. So 4 people perished, a 5th survived, and it does sound like Lissy survived and was in the hospital for a little while based off of some of the stuff that I read through. And then the 5th person had 60% burns over their body. According to a recent, within the last week, New York Times article, OSHA recently stated the fire was preventable and the company was being fined $110,000, according to that New York Times article.
That's it.
It doesn't seem a lot of money for
a fine. But they're also facing lawsuits from all of the families.
Families, sure. As they should.
We saw that and thought, who is this and what's the connection? So just wanted to tie that in a little bit.
And there is a GoFundMe too for her.
Oh yeah, well, I'll put the GoFundMe.
For their
gave me the
family.
link to the GoFundMe. I'll put that in the show notes so you guys can go donate if you want to. I wondered if maybe Lissy was lives in Florida and was just brought in for those two early Florida episodes as like you said, an
production or something.
It looked like right around in that area. So
yeah. Okay. That's sad.
So but good to share that story too, because there was a couple of firework related issues, fires and explosions last year.
Yeah, I remember there being it was the one I'm thinking of. The warehouse was a fireworks warehouse. That's what
this one is.
Okay, so this might have been the one I remember hearing about when it happened.
Yeah, it happened in December.
Okay, I don't remember when I heard it. I don't have any concept of time anymore.
Well, time is a social construct.
That's right.
Yes.
So.
That's right.
All right.
So thanks for joining us, everyone. Next week, we'll be talking about the Dead Files new episode, Head Games, Season 15, Episode 4, which airs on June 22nd, 2023. We are going to be recording this in person, so there will be a little bit different type of episode. And I, for one, am so excited to celebrate for you two on the huge accomplishments that you've had and bringing me in. But I'm going to come up with some cocktails to go with Puka theme, our little ghosty friend,
mascot,
to celebrate,
if you will.
To celebrate the 10,000 downloads.
Yay! Cool. All right. So, is it time for an Alanism?
Yep.
It is time for an Alanism.
It's time for an Alanism. And it looks like you picked one, 15.
I did.
Okay.
So, because we have some new listeners, I want to read the little blurb.
Yeah, why we have this Alanism.
Yeah. So, Alanism has nothing to do with Amy Allen.
Nope.
I posted an Alanism on Twitter and she was like, "Are you talking about me?" I'm like, nope.
Normally, yes, but in this scenario,
in this
no.
case, not this time. So my dad's name was Alan. I am Amy. My dad's name is Alan. It's even spelled like Amy Allen spells her last name. It's a coinkydink. That's it. So my dad, Alan, passed away in 2019. He was an old radio and TV guy who loved the spotlight and performing. He was an entertainer through and through. And as he aged and his mind faltered, he started saying some really odd, but usually pretty hilarious things. And luckily, my stepmom wrote them all down. And so we end each episode with an Alanism as sort of an homage to him. Mm-hmm. And I want to make clear that we are not making fun of him. Mm-hmm. He loved having these read back to him, even, a week after he'd said it. And he thought that was hilarious. And he most of the time, as soon as he'd say something, he'd be like, I think he had some kind of aphasia actually, and words just didn't come out the way that they were in his head. But anyway, he's happy to be a part of this show, as Psychic Jenny told us that she confirmed that, yes, he does enjoy being a part of this. So I read these today in the car on the way back from lunch, and I was laughing so hard that I was crying. And I just picked one that I thought was kind of cute. Some of these are not going to be that funny if you don't already know my dad. But anyway, I just thought this one was kind of cute. I sometimes think out loud to myself in my head.
I do that all the time too.
I do too.
It's like a Yogi Berra.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. Yeah, he loved those too.
I love those.
Yeah. So shout out to my dad on Father's Day. All the dads, because it is Father's Day today.
It is.
And all the people who act as dads.
That's right.
And bonus dads.
Yep.
And anybody who has a child, really.
That's right.
Or fur dogs.
Yeah.
Or anybody who's childless. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, fur dogs. All right.
As opposed to those sleek dogs with no fur. Well, there are some hairless.
There
dogs,
are a couple hairless.
Yeah. Is it time for a nap, Megan?
Well, maybe we can also find out in our new feature from Megan where she tells us what set her toddler into pitch a fit this week.
This week, if anything really stood out. Nothing pitch a fit, but he was very adamant 3 days this week. Like when we leave in the morning, he likes to bring stuff with. And this week, what he really wanted to bring with was an unwrapped roll of paper towels. He loves them. So like we're leaving and he goes and grabs it. And because I'm like, okay, do you want to bring anything? Walks over, grabs it. And it's like as big as he is because he's little. And so he's walking out with a paper towel roll in one hand. And then holding onto the door, I'm like, geez, what is happening? But you know what? And then he thought it was really funny. I chased him around my car 3 times on Friday because he thought it was a game. Trying to get him in his car seat.
That sounds fun.
Dogs do that too. If you chase them, they think it's a game.
Yes.
If you walk away from them, then does it work the same way with kids? If you walk away from him, does he follow you?
Most of the time, I just say, okay, bye. And he goes, bye. And then he just goes about his day. And I'm like, not the plan. Not what I wanted to happen here.
Oh, funny.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yep. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of the Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.